Okay. Let's start all over.
Okay.
Now we got it.
Can you hear us now? Thank God for you.
Thanks, Pinky. Well, welcome to Discussions
Welcome
of
to
Drinks.
Discussions of Drinks. Glad we weren't talking about anything important.
Yeah. So yeah, today we're going to talk about things and stuff and things.
Yeah. Who knows what it's going to be?
And
We're
I'm
going
going
to
to hit the intro. I'm going to hit the intro.
Yeah, just
Not.
please.
I didn't do this before.
Right.
Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my... Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my...
What's up, guys? Are you a fan of Bacon Is My Podcast? And you're like, where can I find more stuff?
Well, we got the site for you at baconismypodcast.com. That's where you can find literally everything. It's the portal to his stuff, my stuff, and our stuff, including Bacon's My Fashion.
You can find t-shirts, you can find hats, you can find all kinds of stuff to put on your body parts. You can also check out all of our awesome sponsors, get discounts. We always have the most recent and the best prices for you. And check it out also over at patreon.com/
Bacon is my podcast. Never changing.
never changing. Find us at baconismypodcast.com. Thanks for checking it out, guys. And remember to ask yourselves,
It's your bacon.
world peace.
I'm Chris,
And I'm Mel.
and together we host the podcast
Spoil My Movie. We were watching movies anyway.
And we were having in-depth conversations about those movies too.
So, we decided to share our thoughts with the world.
You can expect me to gripe about inaccurate details like supposedly cold weather, but you can't see anyone's breath.
And you can expect me to be totally adorable, but also psychologically deep.
And by the end of each episode, we'll provide our respective ratings.
Using a rating scale custom tailored to the movie in question.
Check us out wherever you get your podcasts.
We're everywhere. We're actually behind you right now.
Welcome.
So we don't have that many technical faux pas,
Right.
right?
It's not that often.
It's not that often, but we literally had a discussion that was about 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And
Pretty in-depth one.
but thanks to our patrons over at patreon.com/baconismypodcast.
Who are there with us live. Pinky for the win.
Pinky for the win. She let us know that our mics weren't on. And yeah, thanks, Pinky, and thank you for telling me Happy Father's Day.
It is Father's Day.
Father's Day as we record this.
At the time of recording, it is
Yeah.
Father's Day. So I want to thank my dad.
Yeah.
For choosing me,
My dad too.
and Happy Father's Day to you, buddy,
Thanks.
and all the dads out there.
I like my kids.
Yeah, your kids
Pretty
are pretty
cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Today we're gonna try some. Apparently these are barbecue chicken skewers.
Yes.
Uh,
We went through a whole thing
yeah,
with them before that none of you heard
yeah.
or will ever hear.
It's a long lost episode. Oh, you know what we should do? We should just make subtitle. Like we should do overdubs.
But let's not make overdubs. Let's just grab like a monologue from some movie and just put it on.
Well, a monologue is one person. We're two people.
That's true. A conversation from some movie.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call. All right. That's coming soon.
Yeah.
Jim's gonna work on that, and that's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
So
I'm gonna put it there as soon as Mikey puts in our B-roll.
yes, we're getting there. We're getting there. But yeah, we were talking a little bit about music distribution and distribution rights and
The changes
all
that have
the
been made
things are
recently.
changing and stuff like that, and it's kind of disheartening. And I finally, like, after how many years, finally, like, this is actually something I'm working on in therapy. Let's get in there.
All right, let's do it.
I often would not necessarily identify, like when people ask me, what do you do for a living?
Okay.
I would not identify as musician or podcaster or this or that. And I now need to go, hey, you're making some wins here. People are paying you to do it. You should probably stop the imposter syndrome. And
You should own it.
and own that.
Now, does it feel weird to own it because you're not somewhere that you think people should be when they own it? Or is it a kind of just full on imposter syndrome? Just cover the ice.
Yeah.
Just cover the ice.
It's really high.
We'll just cover the ice.
It's really high. It's,
Yeah.
it's higher than.
We'll just cover the ice. Or is it like or do you think it's an insecurity thing? Or
I think it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I think there was, definitely things on the come up when, just like discussing music as a living, right?
Right.
And people just kind of going, well, you need a backup plan, or you need this, or you need that.
Sure.
And just the perception, and we were talking a little bit about feeling disconnected from people from the past.
Uh-huh.
And I almost feel like this weird vibe of he's still doing that.
Okay.
And like that's not a.
So that's a better way of saying, when we were talking before, how I was saying I started to feel like when I would visit friends, like I was this like fun little like, oh, Jim's
Let's see what he's doing, and
he's living his fun life. But it was definitely more of a, oh, you're still doing that, huh?
Yeah.
Because there's this image in your head of what a successful musician is.
Right.
Right. And when you become a musician, you understand quickly that that's not. I mean, sure, there's that exists.
Yeah,
but there's so many other ways to be a successful musician than to be famous musician.
And that's something that I've kind of had to resolve myself too. Like,
right.
When people think successful musician, they think, oh, well, you're a rock star touring the world.
Right.
And
do I hear you on the radio?
There are so many other things you could be doing within the music industry.
Right.
That, you can't really just, it's not just that. And I think that, even like small wins, like the Death Be a Woman, it's like, yeah, I made a fucking sick song with a buddy of mine for a movie that we're getting paid for.
Right.
Like, no,
that we were asked to do. We were
right.
commissioned
right
to make a song for a movie.
It's like, you know what?
And it wasn't because, hey, we're all friends.
Yeah.
It was because like, oh,
your
need
work
this.
stands up.
I like what you do. Can you do this?
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that for some reason, and let us know in the comments, like if you guys feel this, if you've moved away from home or you're not around some of the people that you grew up with, but when you get around people from your past, you kind of get thrown back into your mental state of your past sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, that like your friends that you had in high school knew that you were trying to be a rock star. And when they look at you and they go, oh, you're still doing that. They're in your brain, you're thinking like, oh, they're saying that because they're like, I haven't heard you anywhere. I don't see you anywhere.
Right.
Are you still chasing this stupid thing?
Yeah.
Right. And you start to feel insecure about what you do. And you almost feel like you don't want to defend yourself with it because nobody's telling you that.
Right.
Right. But you just get this feeling of like, yeah,
right.
I am, but I also, do this and I also do this.
Right. Yeah.
Or this feeling to justify what you You know, like I'll tell people like I teach music, and I'll be like, so you know, I'm a successful musician in a way. See, you know, like it is this like there's this like defense mechanism that comes up.
Yeah.
That's my own crap.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know, like it's weird too, though. Like I've always been the guy who's pursuing the music and doing this and doing that. But like, and I was the youngest, but I was also the first to get married and the first to move out and the first to like
Right.
all those things too. And it's within me. It's my insecurities. It's
Sure.
my fucked
Oh
up
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, we're not
Where I'm
we're
like,
not putting this on
yeah, no. And
my
it's like,
friends. All my friends from home. Not putting this on you. This is
right.
me.
It's like, oh, okay. Like, I guess, like, you know, I've still achieved. I've still
Right.
done great things. I still, you know, and I still have music in my life, and it's it's great. I love music. I tried a little bit to like not love it for a little while.
Right.
I think we've all gone through that as musicians, where we're like, we got to stop that. And
I've definitely gone through periods where I've been like, you have to change what your
yeah,
goals are.
and it works. It works for like 3 or 4 days. It works for 3 or 4 days.
Sorta.
It works for 3 or 4 days, and then like by day 3 or 4, you're kind of like you're once again tapping on things.
Yeah.
And day 3 or 4 is like when the melodies start again. The music in your head starts again.
Right.
And then that goes out the window, and you're like, forget it. It's
Yeah, I
lost
think
cause.
if you're a true musician at heart, and I had said this before, to me there's a difference between being a musician and being someone who plays an instrument.
Yeah.
I think if you're a true musician at heart, it's like you never really fall out of love with doing it, but sometimes you fall out of love with how you're doing it.
Yeah.
And when you don't always connect to that. Sometimes you think like, is this even worth it anymore? Why am I doing this? This is nothing but heartache. This is nothing but disappointment. And so you try and stop doing it. And when you stop doing it, you've taken yourself out of the way you were doing it. So then when all the inspiration starts coming back in, and you go, oh no, this is okay, I'm right back in.
Oh yeah.
But you can either choose to like do it a little bit differently, or do it with different people, or you know, there's all these different things that can make chasing this this high that you get less rewarding.
Yeah.
Right. And so sometimes I think we go through periods where we have to look at that, and that's that whole like, I'm learning how to zoom out.
Yeah.
You know, take a 100-yard view of what I'm doing, instead of being so in the middle of it that I'm reacting to the immediate, and I'm zooming out and going like, all right, this isn't what I'm hating. This little thing here is what I'm not enjoying right now, or this little part of it.
Yeah.
But I also think like, you know, coming to terms with certain goals.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, we all wanted to be rock stars when we started. We all thought it was a certain thing when we started.
But there's so many other things you can do.
Yeah.
And like, to me, that realization is so cool.
Yeah. Well,
it was initially disheartening, because it was like, man, I wanted to be a fucking rock star, and I wanted to be on a bus, and I wanted to be touring the world, and but now, you know, like, there are certain comforts that come with home, and like, oh, I could do things from home too.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I want to be on the road.
Right.
I want to do some stuff on the road.
Yeah,
I want to travel. I want to see shit. I want to do things.
I want to, yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, if the vanity part of it is is like a big problem, there's other ways to still pursue it.
Right.
And
Well, I don't think wanting to be on a bus and wanting to do that is vanity.
no, I mean like being the you know, the on the cover of
Oh yeah, sure.
name you know,
If you think
influential.
that equals success, that's
Right.
That's a different. Like
For me,
I have people in my life that I know that like they just wanted to be famous,
Mhm.
and that was it. Didn't matter how. I was like serial killer. I don't know. But they just wanted to be famous, and I think that's. I guess if you achieve that, I feel like that would be fleeting as far as like a rewarding thing. I feel like that would be more like a drug high where it's going to go away and then you're not going to be able to get it again, or you're going to get it and it's not going to be as cool as it was the first thing. You know, like, I don't know. Like, I still think that like the idea of getting on a bus, bringing your music to the world and all that kind of stuff is just, there's a romantic, you know, there's something attached to it that is just super attractive because it's like this, you know, pirate, you know, on the road, me against the world, you know, meeting people in all new places and showing them what you can do and winning them over. There's that aspect of it, which is honestly like my favorite part of live.
Yeah.
My favorite part of live is the interaction and winning over people and experiencing that. So that's like, maybe that's vanity. Maybe that's,
I don't know.
I don't know. But I feel like I'm getting like recharged with it. You know what I mean? It's like I plugged into something and I'm like, now I can breathe all the way, you know? And it's like, before that, it's like, yeah, I'm mostly here.
Yeah. I think when there are adjustments in your life, in your musical life, especially, that every once in a while, those little things, they come back to you. And that possibility of approaching it with all this knowledge that you had, but no baggage anymore attached to whatever, is always this like in your head. You're like, oh well, yeah, this could still happen,
right? Yeah, I'm sure
we could.
Things are happening for people at all ages now,
dude.
Which is true.
It's true. You know, so you know, full disclosure, I'm 30. I'm 39.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the cusp. I've got a little bit of time. It's November.
You're almost there.
So I got a little bit of time.
You got time
though. But yeah, for sure, there was that like little bit of I'm going to be 40 and fuck. Like
right.
people are going to be like, you're old, and they're not going to want to look at me. But Jen,
that's why you got to stop aging.
Jen is, right, exactly. Jen is amazing, and she talked me off that cliff.
Yeah,
like she was able to talk me off that cliff and consistently just sends me stuff like, you know, here are a list of musicians or actors or people that found great success after 40 and
sure,
you know, all those things. She's like, it's still that 40's nothing.
It's a number, man. It's just a number.
Nothing.
All ages are just a number. Everything's made up. It's a construct. Time is a construct.
Exactly.
Right. Your body is dying from the moment it starts.
Right.
Right. And it's just that's it.
Hi, I'm Dawn Brody, a comedian with a history degree and the host of the podcast HILF, History I'd Like to Fuck. Each episode, I am joined by a new guest who has brought me a subject from history that they want to know more about. Then I hit the books, I dig deep in the annals, and stimulate. We've covered Frankenstein, Houdini, Joan of Arc, Pompeii, the Salem witch trials, right? Ugh. Join us and find out for yourself that history is a party and everybody's coming.
Did you guys not get enough? I know, listen. I know this has been a great episode, right?
Give me some more.
But you've heard some commercials, right?
Give me some more.
including this one.
Give
Right.
me some more.
But where can you find actual real episodes without commercials? Early and ad free.
Patreon.com/bacon is my podcast.
He actually got it right.
Well, I just said it because I knew you weren't going to go with the joke. But if you're thinking, give me some more, that's where you go. Patreon.com/bacon is my podcast. Sign up for one of the tiers, and you can get early, ad-free episodes, extra episodes, stuff with us cooking, stuff with us eating stuff that makes us make horrible faces. You know it. You love it. If you don't know it, you should know it, and you will love it, and you should go there, and you should never, ever, ever forget to ask yourself every single day,
Can I see Bacon's My Podcast live every Sunday?
yes, you can. And the second question is,
Oh, what's your bacon?
what's your bacon?
Yeah,
It
well,
doesn't
you know,
change your worth
it-
at all.
So, so Gavin comes into my room one night. He's like really upset. He was just like really down. And I was laying in bed. I had my tablet. I was reading a Ninja Turtles comic book.
Okay.
He comes in. He was very upset. I'm like, what's up, bud? You all right? He goes, I don't want to get old. I don't want to get older. It seems like a lot of stress and all that. And I'm like, but like, it's okay. Like it's okay. And then like I had to zoom out, like you said.
Right.
And I was able to say to him, I was like, Gavin, your father is about to be 40, and you just walked in on me reading a Ninja Turtles comic book. Like,
Yeah.
You don't have to grow old. You just become another year older.
Yeah.
Like your body becomes
At some
another
point,
year
you
older.
got to grow up, but you never got to grow old. And you don't got to grow up all the way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, don't let go of the things that bring you joy.
Look, look at this.
Yeah.
Come on.
It brings me joy.
Right.
And when you get older, you can drink, which also brings you joy.
It does bring you joy.
It definitely does.
Sometimes. You
Um,
just got to know that limit.
we do have a
because
comment from one of our patrons that said 100%. That's why I didn't go to my 10-year reunion. I didn't want that feeling to come back. And I don't think this is a uniquely artistic or musician thing. I think much like everything else that we think we're the only ones feeling, I think everybody's feeling the same shit.
Yeah.
I really do. I feel like one of the reasons that you feel judged by people is because you're judging yourself. And maybe you're even judging them a little bit.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? And I feel like I do feel we were talking before, and again, let us know in the comments if we're on track with this or not. But I do think that there is something to be said for like, because I moved away, I ended up only seeing people once a year, maybe twice, but really mostly once. And it felt like the more years went by, the less I had in common with them. And it was, we were all going through our own lives and our own things. And I was just going through different stuff. I didn't have a frame of reference that was like theirs. And they didn't have one that was like mine. So we weren't able to relate anymore. So you end up relating based on memory of when you did things together a lot and you were feeling the same stuff. Right. And that's a part of, I think, growing up, is that you start to go like, okay, I have to reevaluate this friendship, not because I need to see whether I still want to be in it, but because I need to reevaluate where I'm coming at it from.
Right.
Because a year goes by, 2 years go by. I mean, in a year, a lot can happen in a year, man. A lot can happen in a year. I went from being homeless to moving in with Annie, to having a dog, to having a steady job that wasn't bartending, like gig work type stuff. Like all that happened like in a year. That was a big year of a lot of changes for me. a lot can happen in a year and you don't realize. And then when you come into a situation where you haven't seen someone for a year, you're coming at them and with the same reference point that you had a year ago towards them, but yours is completely changed. And then with you as well. And you have to kind of like reevaluate each time and kind of meet them again.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, would we be friends now? And how close would we be?
That's crazy. That I like. It makes a lot of sense,
Mhm.
and it seems rudimentary, but it's true. It's like,
Yeah.
and honestly, and we say this all the time. If you're the same person today,
Right,
as you were yesterday, you're wasting your time.
yeah. And the same can be said for the people you're interacting with, and you have to keep that in mind,
Right.
right?
And the changes you make within yourself
Mhm.
may not align with their.
And sometimes we worry so much about how people are looking at us and how they're gonna look at us that we don't take the time to look at them, right? And then it becomes, instead of coming into something, just coming into it and seeing what's what, we come into it with our guard up, or we avoid it entirely.
Yeah.
And if we come in with our guard up, then that puts the guard up of everybody else in the room.
Right. No, yeah, because people read that.
Right.
People see that.
And they're all going through the same thing.
Right.
Like they're coming in going like, oh man, I never realized. I had certain friends, and I did have this conversation where I would come back and I would feel like they were like judging my life choices.
Yeah.
Right. Or thinking that like, oh, you're not growing up, or you're immature, or you're this or you're that, because you're still, oh, you've been living on your own for this long, and you're still working at a restaurant, or you're still working as a bartender, or you're still doing the music thing, all that kind of stuff, right? But I didn't take time to think about the fact. And one of them said to me, they were like, yo, you come home and I look at you and you live in New York, and you're meeting different people all the time, and you're in a band, and you're playing shows all the time, and you're doing this and you're doing that. And I feel like I'm like, I just live at home. I live in the same place. And like, I feel insecure I don't feel like I have anything interesting to say
Right.
to you. And I was like, oh, damn. I didn't consider that you would look at me that way, because I just kept looking through your eyes at me as like the failure.
Right.
That in the back of my mind, like I put on myself, because I was like, I'm still doing this and I'm still doing that, and I haven't made it, and I haven't, like, which can happen to anybody that moves away,
Yeah.
like, so again, it's like we get wrapped up into how we're feeling about something, and we don't take the time to kind of go like, you know what, they're probably coming at this with the same insecurities, and the same weirdness, and the same, like, and that's something I got to realize too. Like, when I go home next Christmas, I'm going to be like, yo, is this weird for you?
Yeah,
because I am that guy. I'm definitely that guy. I'm like, what's up? Is this weird?
I actually did not go to my 10 or 20 year reunion.
Yeah.
I don't remember why 10 years, but for me, I've kept in touch with the people that I was close with, and like, I didn't not go because it was like, well, I don't want this to be awkward or this or that or whatever.
Right.
I didn't go because I like to move forward.
Yeah.
And do
you think sometimes that's a defense mechanism though? Because I think it is for me.
Maybe.
I say that a lot too.
Maybe. It possibly.
I'm like, I don't live in the past, but like,
I don't know if we've spoken about this on the show or anything. I'm sure we have, but like, it's the same thing as like a song, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are guys that we've worked with that wrote a song 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And they keep pitching it. And even if we used it in the past, they keep pitching it. Let's do it. And it's like that song happened. Like, it happened, we recorded it, it's there.
Right.
Like, just let it be there. let's do something else. Like it's still there.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. I'm proud of you.
It exists.
But
Anyone
like,
can listen to it anytime they
like
want.
let's move forward, you know. And
Yeah.
I've worked with multiple people that are just like, oh no, like no, I think this would work with this project. It's like maybe it will, but don't you want to do something else?
Yeah,
And
I think that sometimes is the problem with being someone who creates on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And because if you're working with somebody that maybe doesn't create on a consistent basis, then when they do create something, it's like when you create something, it's the most important thing to you at the time.
Mhm.
Right? And generally it stays that way until you create the next thing.
Mhm.
And so if you have someone that like made something that they're intensely proud of, and they really like feel like, this didn't get its due, or this didn't sound the way I wanted it to sound, or I never got to make this the way I think it should be, or it didn't come across the way I want it to be. And they're not like continuously coming up with new things, then I think it kind of like stays with them, and they're like, I need this to be fully realized, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes that can even be a thing that creates like a writer's block in people, where they're like, no, I need to put this to bed before I can move on. And I think sometimes that can happen. And I think that we sometimes can maybe not understand that as well, because like I'll write something that won't work and I'll move on to something else, and then I
Right.
won't even look at it again.
Yeah.
But if someone worked on that with me and they wrote something to it that they really, really like, they'll keep bringing it up, and they'll be like, hey, what about this song? What about this song? What about this song? And I'll be like, I am so far past that song. But to them, they're like, yeah, but I'm not. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't get to see this. I didn't get to see what this could be. I didn't get to finish it.
Oh no,
You know?
no. I'm talking finished, done.
Well, sure, but I'm saying still in the same
but
kind
like-
of way. It could be something like that.
Yeah.
That's my armchair therapist
Yeah.
looking at it. But
But like, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I the 20-year anniversary or at reunion or whatever. I don't remember exactly why I didn't go. If literally anything else came up or anything else was on the calendar, it wouldn't be a priority to me. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably what happened. Like, even if it was like, hey, we've got somebody to watch the kids, and it's like, cool, you and I are going out. If that was something,
yeah,
like, I wouldn't surprise me.
I went to my 20 year, but I think I went with the wrong attitude. I think it was my 20 years, either my 20 or they might have had a 15. I don't know, but it was whatever one. My band from high school got back together and played that weekend, and we went, and it was my old singer's idea, and he got in touch with all of us and was like, hey, the reunion's coming up. And like, I was like, so like, I ain't going to that shit. Right. Just because I had that same attitude of like, I ain't going to that. It's my defense mechanism. Like, I ain't going to be judged. It's like, I ain't going to that. I don't need that. Right. I move forward in life, that thing. And he was like, no. Like, every single one of the rest of us are going to be home at that time. Do you guys want to play a show? And so I was like, well, that'd be fun.
Right.
That'd be a fun thing to do. And so we got back together and we relearned our record that we released and like relearned a bunch of the covers that we used to play and all that kind of stuff. I went to play a show, and I remember like talking to the guys, and they were like, it can be part of the reunion. And I was like, guys, I don't know if you remember this correctly, but no one from our school came to see us. Right. Like, everyone that was a fan of this band was from other schools, or we played colleges. Like, no one they were probably annoyed with us.
Right.
And they were like, they'll come, and they did, and it was fun, and it was a really cool experience. But then when the actual like night of the reunion or get together happened, I went into it with like the worst attitude. Like I had my core group of friends that are the ones that I still see when I come home.
Sure.
Shout out to my buddy John Bossing. Shout out to Mary Kate.
Okay.
And they're from my school, and then some friends that didn't go to school with me, Mike Early and Johnny B, all that kind of stuff. But like those were my core from the school, and Brian, and we went, and I went in there with the attitude of like, I got wildly drunk, and I was like, can we get out of here? Because I don't know what it was, but I just like didn't want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that had more to do with me than it had to do with everyone else, because there were people that showed up that I was so excited to see. And I was just like, holy shit, like it's so good to see.
Right.
And then there were people there that like, I could care less and they could care less.
Right.
And that's fine too. But I think there was that part of me in the back of my mind that was just like, I don't want to give these people ammo.
Sure.
Because I'm not this or I'm not that, or I don't want to defend myself for not being this or not being that, or you know what I mean? And it's like,
sure.
Nobody cares. Like who, like I'm walking in like I'm the main character at the ball, and everybody's thinking about what I'm doing.
What are you doing with your life?
Hey, everybody, Jimmy's going to be there. Let's all talk about what's happening with him. Nobody cares.
No.
So I think I just had like the wrong attitude going into it.
Okay. I can understand that. I have some fun reunion stories that we've talked about behind the scenes, but like we can talk about them here.
Sure.
Because
if you want to let that out.
Why not? Why not? But first,
that's like your third F, by the way. Swear jar.
Yeah. We haven't set that up yet, so I'm still going.
I'm catching myself now, which is good. I've let a few lesser.
It's sweet.
There's so few chips in that bag.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can you guys see this? If you see this, look at how few chips are in that bag. Look how much bag there is. I understand there's a certain amount of air so that the chips don't just break and crumble.
They came from,
but there's
somewhere in Asia.
There's probably 25 chips in this bag.
Well, that's good. That's good because
But all right, let's do this. So this is chicken skewers.
Yeah, it was barbecue chicken skewers.
Barbecue chicken.
That is way sweeter than I would normally want chicken to be.
Well, I don't get any chicken at all. I get like a very little bit of a too sweet barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
And again,
pineapple.
Same thing.
It's definitely pineapple. That's what I was looking at this.
Yeah, there was no fruits or
pineapple?
veggies on the skewer, but maybe in the ingredients.
I do taste pineapple in it.
I don't hate it. Again, what I'm missing, same thing. I will say I remember missing from last week, salt.
Yeah,
salt is so important. It enhances every flavor that's already there. Like you don't want to overdo it, but a little salt, come on.
Welcome to Sorta Kinda Funny. We're a comedy podcast.
Brother and sister duo.
Where we take your guys' embarrassing moments and stories and turn them into humor because life's about laughing at yourself and we are sure gonna laugh at ourselves. I am James. I am your main Mac Daddy host. And I'm also joined by a loser. Go ahead and introduce yourself, loser. Go ahead. Don't be shy.
This is Lauren.
Give it to them.
Absolutely.
Baby.
Absolutely. What did you say?
Also, we sing a lot, so if you haven't listened to this first episode, I'm sorry.
We have new episodes available every Thursday and would love nothing more than to hang out with you. Does that sound too desperate?
Yes.
Okay. Check us out wherever you listen to your podcasts, and we'll see you on Thursday. And as always,
text me if you want to hang out.
Bye.
Oh, actually, it reminds me a little of when you take the sip of whiskey, You remember the Yoshida sauce?
No.
Oh. It was like a sweet, thick soy sauce.
Okay.
And that, with that, kind of reminds me of it.
Let me take
It's a
another
fond
one.
core memory. My mom used to marinate
Take another
pork
one.
chops in it.
Pork chops are pretty great.
Yeah.
Marinated pork chops pretty great.
Yeah, it was pretty. It actually doesn't hurt it. Right?
Yeah, it doesn't hurt it.
I think it enhances it. But
The aftertaste is nice.
right.
Like the
That's
taste,
with the Yoshida sauce.
while you're eating this, they don't really taste like anything, to be honest. But the aftertaste is actually pretty nice.
Yeah, it's Yoshida sauce.
Okay. I would put that on chicken.
I have it on good authority.
Mhm.
So Lay's is putting out some crazy flavors lately.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of wacky ones. I've seen even Cuban sandwich.
Okay.
I have it on good authority that one is spectacular.
I saw that they put out IHOP Fruity Tooty Fresh and Fruity Pancake.
So when I start seeing these, I am going to start grabbing them. If anybody else out there sees any that we need to start, getting into, let's get at it. Let us know in the comments, in the social medias. Like, let's go. Let us know. But that good authority is a man by the name of Dan Klepner.
Okay.
Dan Klepner, for those of you who do or do not know, he is the guitar player of my old band's Last Turn Off Broadway, and FFR.
And FFR.
And he and I are talking quite a bit again. It's been since September or so,
Which is awesome. I love
which is
the
awesome.
rekindling of friendships.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I'm really, really happy that he is back in my life.
That's good.
With him back in my life, we had not set out to do anything per se, musically or anything like that. But once we started talking,
Are you about to announce something?
once we started talking again, other people became very interested in us doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, neither of those bands are officially getting back together.
Okay.
It look, like people want it to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and actually, he and I are not opposed to it happening. Just all a schedule thing.
I would like to do a reunion show with Last Turn Off Broadway and Sick as Monday. I think that would be a fun,
Not FFR.
or no, FFR is who I meant to say. Sorry. That's what I meant to say.
You know what?
Because I'm thinking of the era.
You know what? I completely forgot to send this to you too, and the fact that you said "Sick as Monday" makes me reminds me.
Oh, fun fact: my drummer was at work the other day and was showing someone he worked with some of our stuff, and he happened to show him the "Love Is a Battlefield."
Oh, okay.
And the guy actually said, "Why do these guys sound like Sick as Monday?"
No way.
And Chris sent me that immediately, and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "I want you to thank him for me right now for even remembering what Sick as Monday sounds like." That's incredible.
Speaking of Sick as Monday,
Yeah.
I had to go to the UPS store
Okay.
recently, which made me go around, and I want to see if you remember at all.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Of course I do.
Yeah.
I slept in that parking lot so many times.
Right.
It is now a jazzercise.
It is now a jazzercise. It
And-
used to be.
On the other side of that is windows, right? And if you remember the Vintage Lounge,
Mhm.
that place was so dark inside.
Those it was beautiful curtains. Red
man.
curtains.
I love that
But
place.
yeah, I was there the other day, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go drive around the back,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna take a picture
That's
to
incredible.
see if Jimmy gets any fun flashbacks.
I'm immediately getting fun flashbacks.
Yes.
Like right next to that door was an old RV.
Oh yeah.
I slept in that RV many a night.
Yep.
With Johnny Beehive. I also slept on the stage in there many a night with Johnny.
Was it
Beehive.
before or after they got rid of the catwalk?
It was after they got rid of the catwalk.
Oh, okay. The catwalk was dope.
Yeah, it was dope. I hung out with Lita Ford there.
Oh, okay.
I did
It was Dave R era.
I did mountains of cocaine in the basement.
That little next to the Jazzercise. If you rewind.
Well, you
a little
didn't have
bit,
to go
there's
there to get to the basement. You could actually go in the building and go down. There was a whole bar set up.
Oh, see, I've only gone down like through that stairway.
Right. Yeah, that's another way.
Which is a
But
hallway.
there's a whole bar down there, or there was. There's a whole bar down there, and they had set up an area for like pole dances.
Yeah.
And a lounge.
Mm-hmm.
With my air quotes there.
Mm-hmm.
I bartended there until they closed.
Yeah.
Like they closed down. I went down with the ship on that one.
That was a quick end though.
Oh yeah.
That was like you showed up for work the one day and was like, sorry guys.
It didn't feel as quick because it was like there was a couple of months of I'm coming into work, I get into work, there's no beer. I have to drive to the liquor store, buy beer, put it on ice, sell it, pay myself back for buying it, and then put the rest in the register thing while I was running to the kitchen and cooking people food. So there was like months of that where it was like that would happen, but then the owner would still show up at 2 a.m. when I was trying to close and bring 20 people with them to go hang out downstairs, and I had to stay open, and it was like, I'm not making any money now. I didn't make any money all night.
Yeah.
That type of thing. But man, I loved that place. Dane and I worked there.
Yeah.
My life mate in Sick as Monday.
Yeah.
We worked there. Sick as Monday Mondays. We bartended Sick as Mondays, and that was
it was a time.
We made a ladies' night out of it,
and now it's a fucking Jazzercise.
And I can't believe that Jazzercise is still open because that's what it was immediately. That was the that was the first thing that took it over.
No, it wasn't. It
was empty for a long time.
They had a different bar there. It was like
no.
Yep. It was
really.
It was a British style bar.
No.
Yes.
Same building.
Same building.
It wasn't down the street.
They painted.
Scotland Yard was down the street. Are you sure you're not thinking about that?
No, it was Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard was down the street.
They painted the windows. I remember because I fucking lived there.
Right.
So I used to pass it all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know
it was also a diving place.
You're right. I remember the diving place now. The diving place was next door and then took over. Yep.
Once Scotland Yard,
because the diving place was always there, but then they took.
Mm-hmm.
But Scotland Yard, Scotland Yard, I think, still exists down the street.
They moved. Yeah.
But that was there when Vintage was there.
Yeah.
Scotland Yard was still down the street because we used to go there every now and then.
Maybe it wasn't Scotland Yard. It was a different bar.
Okay.
As soon as that was out, then they But yeah, guys, go support venues. Go do the right thing.
Support venues.
Yeah, because we need more.
Go support venues and don't be so precious about seeing people from the old days, and realize they're just as scared of you as you are of them. It's like hyenas
seeing a deer in the wild.
Yeah,
don't be scared of them.
Don't be scared of them. They're scared of you. So just go into everything with that mindset. I think you're going to be all right.
Yeah, we've learned a lot today.
Yeah.
I talked about my therapy stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty productive episode, guys. Thank you so much for joining
Interesting
us.
left turn from where we were talking
Please.
about when we weren't recording.
Right.
But yes, remember, always ask yourself,
One super important question.
what's your bacon?
World peace.